I'm now going to rank every single starting quarterback currently heading into the 2023-2024 season in the elite tier. I have three quarterbacks: Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Aaron Rodgers. I believe these are the three best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. And to me, the most important physical trait for a quarterback is the ability to throw an accurate football. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Aaron Rodgers, those are the three most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. They're just natural throws of the football. It looks different. It feels different when you watch and see them play. And these guys have proven they can make deep postseason runs and even potentially win a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow is still looking to do that. But let's not forget, people, Joe Burrow carried arguably the worst offensive line of the last probably 20 years to a Super Bowl. You know, Joe Burrow was sacked over 70 times on his way to getting the Bengals to a Super Bowl. Now, you may be wondering why Aaron Rodgers is in this category. Again, from a talent perspective, Aaron Rodgers is the best thrower of the football of all time. I believe in him, and I just don't think any quarterbacks like Josh Allen, like Lamar Jackson, like Justin Herbert have done enough over a sustained period of time for me to dethrone Aaron Rodgers and say Aaron Rodgers is no longer in that elite category. Now, there's a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers coming off a down season, but we just saw Aaron Rodgers recently win back-to-back MVPs, and I think his situation in Green Bay wasn't all that great. So, again, Mahomes, he's the best player in all of football, the best quarterback by far. You know, he's the cream of the crop. He's proven it in the playoffs, proven it in the regular season, and I think Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers are right behind him. I started to put only Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow in that category, but our respect for Aaron Rodgers and his resume and the fact that you cannot fool that guy at the line of scrimmage, you know, the fact that Aaron Rodgers has so much experience that he's really out there just toying with the defense at times, I have to put Aaron Rodgers in that elite category. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has fallen off quite yet. He'll do great things for the Jets. Okay, up next, the borderline elite category for quarterbacks in the 2023-2024 season. In that tier, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks. Okay, so we're through 11 guys right now. Okay, and 8 of these guys are in the borderline elite tier. You have Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, and Matthew Stafford in no particular order, okay? No particular order. These are guys that aren't quite in the elite category, meaning, you know, each week I know what I'm going to get from them. You know, it's either they just have a little bit of an inconsistency to their game from a week-to-week basis, or they just haven't quite proven themselves in the postseason like a Justin Herbert, you know, like a Kyler Murray, you know. But I can look at the talent of these guys and say, these guys kind of have somewhere around the elite tier of a talent in their repertoire, you know, where they have a special skill like Matthew Stafford, you know, Justin Herbert, unbelievable arm strength, Jalen Hurts, unbelievable mobility, same with Josh Allen, you know, Deshaun Watson, unbelievable playmaking ability, you know, and looking at Deshaun Watson, I don't think Deshaun Watson has fallen off. I think you would be a fool to write off Deshaun Watson, a guy that was playing at an MVP level in Houston the last time we saw him play a full season. I have not counted Deshaun Watson out. And I look at all 8 of these guys, and they're not quite the best of the best, not quite elite, but if you were to trade for any of these guys, they can put you in the Super Bowl conversation, no doubt about it. Probably the worst out of the group is Kyler Murray, you know, and I think Kyler Murray is as talented as it gets. It's just about the inconsistencies that I see from him and things of that nature. You know, Lamar Jackson, you know, he has had his playoff struggles. You know, Trevor Lawrence, you know, really hasn't proven it over a sustained period of time, but we know that he's an ultra talented quarterback. So I think that pretty much sums up this tier. Jalen Hurts, he's been to a Super Bowl. I thought he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl, and he's only getting better and better. And I think that his physical tools are underrated. So there you go right there. Let's move on to the above average tier. So there are only 5 quarterbacks in this tier right here, and we're already at quarterback number 16 right here when you look at these things. Okay, so in this tier, I have Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Justin Fields, and Geno Smith. Geno Smith has climbed up this list tremendously. I have a lot of respect for what he did in Seattle. I do believe if Geno Smith continues to improve, you actually can win a Super Bowl with him being your starting quarterback. Just because I think that when it comes to Geno Smith, he's a guy that is not being handheld by Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll really started to give him the keys to that franchise last year, and Geno Smith proved him right, okay? And you look at Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Justin Fields. These are all guys that have a special trait to a degree. Even Jared Goff, I think Jared Goff throws a very good deep ball, has very good touch down the field. The thing is, there's a ceiling with these guys to where they can win a lot of games probably in the regular season if you put the right pieces around them, but they're probably going to bottom out in the playoffs. Can they take it to that next level? Has Russell Wilson's best days, surpassed him in Denver? There's a lot of concerning things with Russell Wilson, but because of his track record, I'm putting him in the above average category. I think that these guys have proven themselves to be good enough to be, above average, to where you're not going to worry about them too much. They can be franchise guys, but there is a clear-cut ceiling. Okay, up next, tier number 4, the average category. These guys are only as good as the head coach and the team that you put around them. And even if the situation is nearly perfect, they still might not quite be good enough to win a Super Bowl. Tua Tagovailoa, Kirk Cousins, Mac Jones, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kenny Pickett, Ryan Tannehill, Brock Purdy, and Baker Mayfield. I wanted to put Baker Mayfield in the above average category. That sounds crazy. I'm probably higher on Baker Mayfield than 95% of the NFL universe, but I have to recognize that Baker Mayfield has regressed ever since, he won that playoff game in Cleveland. So, look, I think the situation around Baker has had a lot to do with his regression, but at the same time, I have to hold Baker Mayfield accountable because there's just been some stuff that I don't like, okay? But you look at Brock Purdy, proved himself in San Francisco, was winning games. I just don't think the talent is as eye-popping. Is it the Shanahan system and the great weapons, or is it Brock Purdy? We're going to eventually see he can climb up this list. But guys like, Ryan Tannehill, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, they've been around the NFL for long enough for us to know what they are. They're not big game quarterbacks, but they're quarterbacks that if you give them a stable situation, they can win games, they can hold down that ship, but you're always potentially looking to upgrade. You're always thinking, I can do a little bit better. You look at a guy like Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo. These guys, they're just not wildly, overwhelmingly talented compared to some of those other guys out there. But these are guys that have a lot of respect. They're viable starting quarterbacks that can hold down the ship for you. Those are all the guys in tier number 4. Last but not least, quarterbacks for the 2023-2024 season in tier number 5, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Jordan Love, Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, and Daniel Jones. Let me start off by saying Daniel Jones is arguably the worst starting quarterback in the NFL right now, because I can make the argument I would rather have all 31 guys on this list over Daniel Jones. You may think that I'm crazy because you can say, oh, Daniel Jones, he's played some games. He won a playoff game last year. He's proven more than Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, quarterbacks like that. And you're right. But the thing is, compared to what Daniel Jones was in college and what these guys can become, they were much more talented prospects than Daniel Jones. When you look at Daniel Jones' college profile, and Daniel Jones has done nothing in the NFL to suggest that he should be head and shoulders above these guys. Would I rather have Daniel Jones or the unknown mystery of a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson? I'm going with the unknown talented rookies. I'm sorry. Daniel Jones, I understand that he played pretty decent this past year, but he was being spoon-fed and baby-fed by the great coaching of Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll is carrying this situation. I think it's only a matter of time before Daniel Jones is exposed. The talent is not overwhelmingly impressive at all. There's a reason why everyone in New York City rioted when the guy was drafted. They've tried to pretend, to like the guy and get behind him. I understand it because he's their quarterback, but I'm here to tell the truth. Daniel Jones, not that talented. You look at Desmond Ridder, I'm not all that impressed by what I've seen. He does have, at least a B plus arm, I would say. But again, I got to see him put it together. He could put it together, but I just wasn't a huge fan of his at Cincinnati, and we'll see what he could do. You look at a guy like Jordan Love, haven't really known much about him, haven't really seen him. The last time we saw him, start an NFL game, he looked overwhelmed versus Kansas City, but it does seem like he's getting better and better. And again, guys like Jordan Love, Sam Howell, and Desmond Ridder, these guys, they just haven't played enough games for me to really know anything. And when you look at Daniel Jones, he's an unknown just for the fact that I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the most out of him because I think that I'm limited physically from a talent perspective. And again, I just don't know when I'm going to get that next big leap from Daniel Jones because I think that he has a limited skill set and he's been very inconsistent as a thrower of the football in the NFL up to this point. So there you have it. That's all 32 quarterbacks ranked right there. And yeah, I feel pretty confident about my rankings for the quarterbacks in 2023, 2024.